Welcome to Point in Progress Podcast, episode 30, your one-stop shop for news, recommendations, and some spicy takes. Join 5 friends across 3 time zones and 2 countries every week as we discuss all things we love while still thinking critically about them. I am your host this week, Fee, and I am here with our usual gang of people. We'll start off. How's it going, Harv?
It's going well. It's going well. It's been a tiring week. It's been a long week, but it is Friday today. I'm having a beer. I'm going to be chilling tonight, and it is. I'm excited to be here.
How many pieces of content total have you been involved in this week?
5.
Jesus
5.
Christ.
I put 3 videos out today. I'm making one right now, and then Fee and I still haven't recorded our stuff. We're going to do that at some point. And then, yeah, those would be the 5 so far. We've been,
and then this.
Oh, and I recorded a podcast yesterday.
Seven.
That's going out on Monday. So
7.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
it's been a week for you.
And I've been working full time all week. So
Yeah.
I have been tired AF, but you know what? I wouldn't want it any other way, honestly.
Exactly. Been right there with you, my friend. Right there with you. And Frank, how has your week been?
Pretty good. I took a nap before this, so I'm still kind of waking up. I don't even know if this is a dream or reality, but here we are.
Mm-hmm.
I've been racking my brain with Switch hacking all week, so it's been a little weird.
For people who are listening, we do not condone Switch hacking.
I do 100%.
Frank has no affiliation with the Point in Progress
Nintendo.
We're releasing a statement now.
This
Frank
one's for you, Nintendo.
Been officially fired from Point in
No, don't flip off Nintendo.
News alert: Frank has joined Kotaku as a editor.
I'm not saying do piracy on your Switch. I'm saying. Switch could do some really cool things with emulators. I mean,
that's exactly what they said.
Yeah,
well,
Nintendo,
you're not emulating.
I'm joking. Obviously,
Nintendo. I'm sick of buying the same game over and over and over again.
Yeah,
all right? Just let me fucking hack the system somehow.
Yeah, let me play PSP games on my Switch.
Okay, maybe not that, but let me play the old Zelda games, for free. Just all the Zelda games.
I don't know about free. Remember,
let me pay a subscription. Yeah, that I've bought maybe 3 or 4 times. I bought Ocarina of Time 7 times.
God, I can't wait till we start charging for stuff, and then we're gonna be like, "Please buy our stuff," and they're like, "Fuck that! I want to get it for free."
Yeah, but the thing is, our stuff when we sell it is going to be sold. We're not gonna make people buy it 7 times.
Yeah, and we're also not gonna.
You say that. I'm gonna make sure we sell something 7 times. Okay.
God. Puts it in his fucking sticky notes 7 times.
Continue.
Oh my god! All right. Well, on that note, how's it going there, Mario?
I got some energy in me, and I'm ready to spill it out. All right, spit all over the place. Let's play. Let's talk some stuff. I want to hear about the hacking. I want to hear about the news. I'm in a mood. Let's just play. Let's go.
Okay, and Sly, to interrupt you in your laughing fest over there, how's it going over there? Are you okay? Should we call the hospital?
I just saw the notification you pushed about us going live, and it included me wanting to be a book, and I lost my mind a little bit. But I stand by that statement. When I die, I want my skin to be turned into leather to become the binding for a book. It's my one goal in life, okay?
Wow. Okay.
Let's just cut
that was going to get cut
right
out of the episode, and now it's officially in the episode. So okay.
Yeah. Go, why don't you just cut some off right now? You know what I mean? It'll grow back.
That is fair, and also Frank will not wear my ashes on his face. Okay,
and
continue.
Now we're gonna have to release that conversation as a short at the beginning, on our channel, because it's just gonna be weird shit that's talked about before the podcast.
I'll put it.
This is how we warm up.
If I remember, I'll put it at the end of this.
It'll be the cold open.
Oh my god, just a cold open. Oh my god, no music this week. Just put first just do that cold open and then put the music and then show the rest of this podcast.
Okay, got it.
Perfect.
There you go.
Thank you.
Incredible.
Taking notes.
I took a note.
Ideas. My goodness. All right. Yeah. It has been quite.
It's been crazy.
It's
crazy.
It's quite and crazy. Quite.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Right.
Yeah. Also, as a
Michael
heads up
Crichton.
for anyone who's listening and is just like, why is there random tapping every so often? My cat is currently has what the scientific term is. She has the zoomies, and
The
so right now,
zoomies?
including in her zoomies, is she'll jump into the shelving unit behind me because there's a few shelves for her, and she'll stomp her foot because she wants attention. And currently, I'm not giving her that to record this podcast. So we're gonna continue. So if you randomly hear like bang, 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 bang. It's her. Everything's fine.
Yeah, same goes for me. If you hear me screaming,
there's
that's
a
because my
murderer
cat
in
is
your
stabbing me in
house.
the nuts.
I
So,
mean, if
thank
there
you.
is a murderer in my house, that's the door they'd enter. So
So we would see the
Who has
we would
Lucas-
see the murderer
Who has Lucas'
before you
number?
yeah, you guys can set that up for next week for the Halloween episode, if you really want to.
Oh my god, Lucas
Please.
coming in with a Halloween mask? That'd be amazing.
I
Yes.
would probably scream and I'd probably punch him in the face, but it's okay. Everything's
As long as it's on camera, that's all that matters.
As long as it's like, my God, Mario's just chasing that content.
Content.
I've been saying for 30 episodes that we need to get Lucas on the pod, but maybe this is how we finally do it.
Just
There we
yeah,
go.
I mean, he just has to walk in and I get scared. I'm probably one of the easiest people to scare in person.
Every time.
Yeah,
I mean, you're pretty easy to scare in video games too. Actually,
It's true. It is true, and that's
we've
a
played
great.
Phasmophobia.
You have played Phasmophobia with me, and that's a great segment to the checkpoint. Because after this episode, if you are watching us live, we're actually going to be continuing and playing some DBD later, which is going to be both
I
frightful.
just finished downloading.
Really happy
Motherfucker.
Harv was going to download that last night.
haven't
Well-
updated all week, baby. Let's go.
While we're here, Harv, start the game up and make sure it works, okay? Please.
Oh my god! But yeah, also, guys, it's episode 30.
It is.
Zero.
We're-
30
we-
episodes.
How?
Wow,
How did
we've
we
hit our
do that?
midlife crisis.
That's right. Fuck you. Second of all, I'm not dying at 60 either. All right, we got some years.
We got some years.
We got some years.
But yeah, 30. We're ramping up to being close to 1 year old as a podcast, and so 30 is a huge milestone, I would say, in that number. So
Yeah.
congrats to us. We are still here gathering every Friday, which is what we've been, I think, almost since the inception. So
Yep.
yeah.
I think E3, and then we took like a minor break in August, but that's because we were
We
doing
took
a bunch
our-
of other stuff.
Yeah, or we've at least been
Summer
recording at least every
vacation.
Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Beforehand.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
We have
we've
something
been doing
coming out every
something on
Friday, at least.
Fridays. It's
Yeah,
been we do something. We existed.
We don't
here
have
on
Fridays
Friday.
off, is what we're saying.
We existed.
We will never get Fridays off ever again.
Yeah, never again. And to continue the spookiness, last week after the podcast and after multiple conversations, and a very inspiring video by our own Mario Rivera, we decided to sit down and watch Halloween Kills
As a collective.
as a collective.
That's the first time we've ever done that, isn't it? As a collective.
Have we? We've
We
watched
used to have
movies
You guys,
together.
we
all
watch
the
you watch
time.
stuff on all the time on in the
No, just
Discord.
like as a pip thing, just like we just
Maybe,
sat down.
I
I guess
think, yeah.
I guess I wasn't there for that one for this one, but
No, you're just sort of just
Yeah.
like,
We
hey,
used
you want to watch this movie?
I know we used
We
to watch
literally-
like Hell's Kitchen all the time. But this
I
is
was gonna
before
say
the
we
whole
used to
Pip
watch
stuff.
Hell's Kitchen all the time.
This was before all.
We
Pip
haven't
stuff.
watched something to all of us, and I think the movie, Sly would agree with us. The movie we should all watch together is Jupiter Ascending, which of course is
Jupiter
this
Yeah,
Thursday.
no.
We should
Yeah.
watch
I
this
think
movie
I'm out.
together.
I'm already
I
out.
think-
Time.
I think I'm busy that day, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just let me
I
know
plan
what
on being
date.
sick for whenever you want to watch that movie.
Okay, all right. What
Yeah,
did you
let me-
think of Halloween Kills? First of all, am I crazy?
thought It
I mean, yes, but not about your take for Halloween Kills.
Honestly, I think it's a cinematic masterpiece. I
Oh my
think
God, you
that it's
turned-
one of the. I think it'll rival movies like Dune.
Frank, you know what?
In terms of cinematography and scope and promise of.
Well, Frank, if I could let you know, 389 people agree with you as they disliked my video, but 230 agree with me. 6,700 watched the video last week.
I mean, your ratio there is actually pretty even now. Honestly, it's almost even.
Getting there.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm gonna
It
be
started off
honest.
atrocious.
Yeah.
But you brought that back to 500 almost.
I also think I was just offended that you flipped us all off. Like, I think that was what
Yeah.
really was just like, it set the tone. I'm like, you know what? I agree with this guy, but he flipped me off. He did not only once, but twice. And so now I have to give you a thumbs down. No, I didn't. I gave you a thumbs up.
Thank you.
Guess what?
What?
Oh no.
Oh. Well, this video's now
Well-
going to get a thumbs down.
Well, we're gonna
from
add
me.
that to a column.
No, I think it was definitely there was a lot of things that weren't explained, and I feel like there was areas that could have been done better. Like the killing scenes, phenomenal. That particular there was one scene
Good murder.
I screamed because it was so funny that I was just not prepared. And why?
I think I know which
Like,
one
it
you're
was-
talking about.
It includes a gun.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. That.
and so I was just like, I was so thrown off. I was just like, what the fuck is happening here? But I just, it was a letdown, but the kills were really good. Also, like, I just, like, there's things there that, like, I was hoping to see happen, and they just didn't hit the way that they should have, is the best kind of way that I could explain it. How did you feel about it, Harv? Oh.
I
Not so happy.
not great. But the thing is, like, I was reading tweets and stuff about it, and there's one tweet that I really agreed with. Whereas I think it was Christian actually, Christian who was on the podcast last week. Was
Week
last week?
before?
2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. That there is no driving force. There's no main character of this
No.
movie. There
No.
is no main character. There is no end goal of this movie. Like
Yeah,
there
the
is
main character of this movie is murder.
Yeah, and it's just like you can't sympathize with murder. I don't, unless you do.
No,
I do actually for Michael
Myers.
Myers.
The main like thing in the movie, the actual main character was evil, because evil dies tonight.
That's
And
true.
you just like have to repeat
Evil
that
itself.
like,
God,
ever
I
since
felt like
then.
I was watching. I felt like I was
Yeah,
watching.
Final Fantasy. Strangers in
I-
Paradise. Chaos.
Oh my god, Strangers in Paradise was better than this,
Okay.
Oh yeah.
and I mean, Strangers in Paradise. The gameplay is really really good. I will say that. Okay, I will say that. The story stuff I'm a little iffy on, but like that the whole evil will die tonight just made it feel like this. I was watching a CBS show all of a sudden.
Oh, I was
Like I'm in the middle of a CBS show.
it was like watching January 6th all over again. I just wanted them to stop.
Yeah, maybe for you guys, for us over here, they're just kind of like, yeah.
Yeah.
Evil dies tonight, guys. Evil dies tonight.
Yeah,
Cancel the
I felt
revote.
like I was
We'll
just watching it.
note that it's Frank's favorite movie because he has also killed a man.
That's right.
Yep.
You have killed a man.
Killed many men.
Well, many men. Many men wish death upon me. Let's move on. Let's get out of
Yeah.
here.
No, it
But yeah,
just-
I didn't like it. But the thing is, I'm excited for the last one. Where was it? Halloween Ends. Is that what it's
Mhm.
called? Because I just want more Jamie Lee Curtis, honestly. That's
yeah,
all
Yeah,
I
here.
want.
I want so while we're here, I'm sure you guys seen this in the Discord, but I do want to bring it up again. Two things came out after the movie came out. One of them being the alternate ending to the movie, where that character dies, right? Gets a call from Lori, and Michael Myers picks up the phone and breathes into it. And how the movie was going to end is you then see Lori pick up the knife.
I think you're
that
just
she
spoiling
had
the
throughout
movie
whole
for people that haven't seen it.
Well, you don't know which character dies. And you see Lori pick up a knife and then walk out. And apparently this was in the trailer of the original like Halloween Kills, trailer. And it was cut out because the whole 4-year gap was added afterward. Once the movie was already shot.
So
That-
also, what I learned is that the third movie isn't shot yet.
No, it's not.
They're still shooting.
Yeah,
So
it's spring.
it's gonna be interesting to see how that's all gonna go.
Which is why I invited, because the comment section told me to kill myself. So I told the director, hey, if you want this to happen, put me in your movie. All right?
Nice.
I mean,
get out there.
I would
Yeah,
like that
give
alternate
it a
ending.
shot.
Honestly, that alternate ending would have probably fit
No.
this movie.
I think it would have been
It doesn't
better.
make sense. It does not
the
make
whole
sense.
This movie doesn't make sense.
How
Mario.
does that not make
No,
sense?
how does?
that
Yeah,
not
I don't know
make
how that
sense?
doesn't make any sense.
Because so wait, I'm sorry. Lori is calling that person, or is
Lori is calling the person who
the person's answers? Okay, fair enough. I
That
thought it was the
person's
other way
dead.
around.
I will
Michael answers,
say-
picks up
Okay.
the phone, answers
As
it, you hear
somebody
breathing.
who
Got it.
hasn't- As somebody who hasn't seen this movie, y'all are making absolutely no sense.
Fair
Perfect.
enough.
That's
No.
exactly what I was trying to do. And then the second thing was that Dr. Loomis is not CGI. That was all practical effects. They just found some other bald man and put him in a trench coat and just put some prosthetics on him.
Well, that's probably why they didn't have like close-ups of him, right? They had like a lot of wide shots of him for
Sure,
the most part.
decently.
Yeah,
Or
Yeah,
like,
really
or,
well
or,
done,
or,
though.
or it was quick shots. Like it was close
Yeah.
but quick. Yeah, which would make sense.
Cat tried to climb up my back.
No, that was really well done though. Yeah. So, no, that was just what an interest. I don't know. I just love Jamie Lee Curtis too much to like specifically say I hated the movie because I still think her like the acting in it was great from Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Myers obviously, and then just like kind of like the close knit characters. There were some actors that I was just like, I am happy you're gone out of the series. Like, sayonara. But no. To continue though, we'll talk about what we've been playing / what we've been watching, or /
I
what
do
we've been
want
reading.
to,
Yeah, what's up? Sly?
before we get out of the housekeeping, stick around to the very end for a very special exclusive announcement.
There you go.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Evil dies tonight. That's the announcement.
Oh.
It's
Evil?
not for the record.
What-
but
what do
thank
you-
for
It is
that.
now.
That's
Well,
gonna be my,
Yoshi,
that's gonna be,
continue.
whenever I do my next podcast, that's gonna be my question to somebody. It's like, does evil die tonight?
Yeah.
Does it?
Does chaos die tonight?
Does chaos?
Go ahead,
Anyways.
Pete.
Anywho, going to continue on there to what we've been playing, watching, reading, experiencing, I guess. We're just everything, you know? Like, why not? Because this is where we can
We
talk about it-
contain multitudes.
exactly.
That's why.
What we'll do is we'll start off with Sly. Sly, what have you been watching / reading this week?
So I've been yelling about Leverage for like a month now. I finally finished it. I've seen all of Leverage and all of Leverage Redemption. It was really good. I loved it. And maybe look forward to some Leverage related content coming soon with somebody you may know. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Even I don't know what this is, so cool.
Neither do we. I'm just putting it out there. It might exist. It might happen sometime. And then this week, the Marvel Assembled episode of Black Widow came out, and so I watched that. It
Oh
was
shit!
really
Really?
good. Yeah,
Oh,
I
cool.
love the Assembled videos, like seeing like the behind the scenes and like getting to know like some of the like crew and stuff more. I love those. So that was really awesome. And then I was just thinking about how much I love Black Widow. But so I rewatched Black Widow, and I will say that movie jumped 2 ranks on my list of where it is in my MC rankings just by watching it a second time. Holy crap, is that movie good? I love Black Widow.
I have never seen
so
it.
shout out
I
to
have
that.
not seen that
Neither
movie.
way.
You gotta see it. It's really good. I had
Yeah.
some issues with it when I saw it the first time. I had a little bit of gripes, but after watching it the second time, I've resolved most of those gripes in my own mind. But yeah, Black Widow is really good. It's by no means a perfect movie. I'm not saying it's my favorite, but I really loved it, and I think everybody should watch it. It's really well done.
Yeah, I'm actually happy that you brought
and
up the Assembled, because yeah, you're right. I love those, and so I did not know this was coming out for this. So that's awesome. So if that's the case, then we're also going to get one possibly for Shang-Chi, and then for Eternals and Spider-Man. So that makes me even excited. These are like in-depth documentaries that talk about the process of making the films and the TV shows.
That's cool.
So this is really cool.
Sort of the
It's on
TV
Disney
shows,
Plus?
yeah.
It's all
It's
on
on
Disney
Disney Plus?
Plus.
It's
It's
on Disney
its
Plus,
own
yeah.
title. Yeah. So
I like that stuff. I like the behind the scenes.
yeah,
stuff.
the WandaVision. It has a WandaVision one, Loki, all that. So
Started
I'm very
Okay,
excited.
cool.
So that's really cool.
The Falcon and the Winter Soldier has one.
Star
too,
Wars,
that was really good.
Mandalorian has like the best ones. In my
Oh,
opinion.
they have it for those as well.
They have a whole episode about the final episode of Mandalorian, and it's all about Luke. Spoilers for Mandalorian season 2. Luke Skywalker. That's been a year. Yeah, a year for that one.
All of the Disney Plus behind the scenes, all of those documentaries
I adore
are
them. Yeah.
excellent.
Oh my god, cleaning my glasses just makes such a difference.
Yeah, you should probably do that more often.
Yeah.
I also
I have
played
so
a
many-
video game this week.
Okay, what have you been
so
What?
That's
You actually
exciting.
played a video game?
I know, wild. It's
When's the last
almost
time you
like I
played a
have an
video
entire
game?
The card game.
A couple weeks. The card game demo. But I still don't have my consoles out, so I'm just relying on my Switch, and I don't usually play my Switch that much. But I was having a bit of a rough day. I read something that I probably shouldn't have, and I got really triggered, and I needed to take a break and chill out and zone out. And so I was just scrolling through the Switch library, and I saw that What Comes After was on sale, and I hadn't played it yet. And so I sat down and I was just glued to my Switch for a couple hours, just playing through that game. And have you guys heard of What Comes After?
No, I've actually
No.
not. No.
It is it's super walking sim story based kind of game, totally up my alley. But the premise is you're playing as a girl named Vivi, and she's on a train and falls asleep and accidentally ends up on the train that is taking spirits to whatever comes next. And so you're on this train full of ghosts, and you're just stuck there until morning. And so you're talking to them, and you can either help them with something or they can help you. It's really dialogue heavy, and just telling a really beautiful story. And it was everything I needed, and it was just so beautiful. The art is really pretty. I really like the art style, and it's just such a sweet, wholesome story. If you need a cozy, word heavy game, I would 100% recommend this. And it's on sale on Switch right now, so
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
For how much?
riff while I check my
I had it open. Let me see what it is. It
Damn it, Harv.
is
Well, I'll talk about the art. I think the art looks really cool. So
$5.
Oh, hey, that's random. Hey, for people
$4.89
the people that have a Switch, if you've bought anything digitally, check out your Nintendo coins because you could just get things for free. I got the the Doom Slayer guy for Smash Brothers for free because I had enough points.
It's perfect for little DLCs and stuff like that. Because
You could also get
it adds up
physical
to that.
stuff too.
Yeah.
No, not those. In the actual Switch itself. Those are separate.
Okay.
So every time you make a purchase, you get coins, or when you buy a physical game, you can redeem coins and they go into a bank that equals out to dollars. So 60, coins is 60 cents. So that actually equates to then subtract from your total. So you can buy something I bought what was it? No More Heroes for $5 cheaper because I had $5 saved up and I have not touched it in a while. So if you have those, if you were someone that did buy digitally a lot, that's an option for you.
for sure.
Nice. I didn't even know about that. Sweet. Well,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
I have 0 coins.
Used to buy
I have
digitally a
60
lot.
silver. I have 60. I haven't bought a Switch game in so long. That's probably also why.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't know. I can't log into their store.
Yeah, there's that.
Almost like you hacked your Switch or something.
Damn.
That's a segue.
That is a segue. Frank,
Hello.
what have you been playing this week?
I've been messing with this here Nintendo Switch. As you can see, this is not a menu you can get on your Nintendo Switch. This is the homebrew menu, which is pretty nice because you can add things like emulators to it and then play games such as Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, if you've ever played anything on the PSP there. Before anybody rides my shit about piracy and stuff like that, I own Peace Walker. I own all these games. You know what I mean? If I want to play them on my Switch, I will, because it's kind of convenient actually. And they play really, really nicely, surprisingly. I thought there would be a little bit more issues. There's a small issue where like the Switch will have two different modes where it'll play something either in something called applet or non-applet mode. So when you're in a game, it'll give you full 100% like Switch power, but when you're outside of a game, if you use any application, it'll do something called applet mode, and it like bogs down the whole system. But there's some crazy neat stuff you can do with a hack Switch that I'm kind of learning to do really quick. I kind of want to put Linux on it just to see just to see how it runs. Just to see what we can do.
It can run pretty well on it again, because Linux doesn't take too much resources as well. So it's one of the benefits of Linux.
Yeah, I think I want to put Linux on there, because if you put Linux on there, I believe you can put Android on there as well. And then if you put Android on there, you could do Game Pass. You can play Game Pass through Android. So technically, you can play Xbox games on it after you do that. I don't recommend hacking your Switch, by the way, people. This is like old Switch. This is a day one Switch. You know, you can only kind of really do it with these. Take the risk. If you take the risk, you will get bitten. Nintendo will ban you. But I'm getting another Switch anyway down the road when they decide to shit or get off the pot and make an actual, successor to the Switch instead of just throwing an OLED screen on top of it.
Yeah, at least getting like a 2.0, right?
Yeah, I'll wait for a 2.0 and then I'll jump back into the Switch ecosystem. But on top of that, what the hell is going on with this dock?
Fee and I are having a conversation. Don't mind us.
Hold on, give me a second here. I've also been playing Metal Gear Solid 5 again.
Okay.
I decided to jump back into it. I think it's like the 5th time I've decided to like restart that game straight from scratch. It's fun, man. That base building aspect of that game is unrivaled. There is no other game that has done that level of just like recruiting soldiers, building a base, having R&D, just stuff like that. It sucks too, because I would love another game like that. It doesn't even have to be Metal Gear related. I just want another kind of like base simulator type game, where you can just recruit soldiers out in the field and just kind of redo that.
Yeah, honestly, Frank, I thought I would hate that aspect, because when I first played that game, before having any knowledge of the MGS stuff, I was like, I don't want to do any of this base stuff. It's boring, blah, 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 blah. But when it becomes intrinsic to the character and to the actual story as well, I think that's what made me like it more. And the more I kept getting new soldiers and stuff like that, and the more I was able to level up my character, that's how much I loved it. And I love that in Peace Walker, which is obviously where it comes from, and in MGS5 it just explodes to all types of stuff that you can develop and all the characters and stuff like that. So yeah, I agree with you a lot.
It's a good way to pace the player in terms of like what they can and cannot do throughout the game. Like, you obviously get more gear, you get better, you get like the more soldiers you recruit, the more gear you get, the better your gear gets, the faster you get
of the
as a
soldiers
character.
that you get too. They'll just get everybody,
Yeah, you gotta kind of like look at the stats they have. It's kind of like Pokemon in a way, almost, but like for soldiers. It's just so much fun, and playing through it again.
You're not wrong, but
yeah, it's a great game. Anybody who hasn't played Metal Gear Solid 5, go play Metal Gear Solid 5. It's like $20 on Humble Bundle right now for like both games for some reason. But yeah, that's really kind of and I've been watching Silicon Valley.
We just watched the first season of Silicon Valley all together, and we got the jerk time to whatever it was episode.
Jerk to finish ratio or something like that, or
something
jerk
like
ratio.
That. Yeah, something like that. And we got to that episode. Oh my god,
that won an Emmy, right?
Yeah,
that won an Emmy.
Yeah. It's one of the best scenes of that entire season. I don't want to say the entire show, because there are so many good fucking scenes in that show, but them It's just going through all the different ways of doing it, and just like because that's so. If you look at like any kind of problem solving, it's usually how it works. Is like you start doing something else, like something random, and then your mind starts working, and then it's like, oh shit, no, that's the way you need to do it. So then your mind's not looking at like the project, like the problem you're looking at something else, but then you figure out the problem that you're actually working on, and it's funny that they picked that solution or that problem to work on. And yeah,
I think just like one thing that's just been irritating me about it is because I've watched enough like Shark Tank and Dragon's Den to know that their fucking like discussion about financing and how much like percentage they've been giving out to the company. They have a guy who has 10% of the company who has way too much speaking power, and then they expect way too much from someone who only has bought 5% into the company and has spent a shit ton more than the 10% person, but by all means let him just go off. And apparently that's their first round. I would assume that the person who has the 10% is actually part of the first round and not like, and that was it, because at that point it was, I get to rent a place in your home to be able to do that. And so that's
but you also
probably
have to know that this is a startup company. They have no idea what to do, what
I
they're
know,
doing.
but I'm just saying.
Yeah, they're getting skamazed.
So
Yeah.
I'm just like sitting here with like when I was first watching it with Harv, I was just like, this is not feasibly possible, and they're expecting way too much from someone who just put 5% in. Like they expected them to like run their company, to advise them, help them. I'm like, that's not how this fucking
That's
works.
also more on Jared than anybody else.
Oh,
Is that
oh,
Jared
believe
or is
me.
that's Jared, right?
Fucking Jared.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just
That's more on
like
Jared, because Jared will do whatever fucking that guy will say. He'll do whatever you say he'll do.
I don't
so.
know. I don't remember that. The
Yeah,
names
Fee
are
is our Jared, but cooler.
I mean, I'm
You're
That
a
was a
business
pregnant
manager.
pause.
I'm trying to correlate the two together. I am.
Oh yeah, they both like sticky notes. They're both very organized. They're both very smart. But Jared will bend over backwards. Fee won't.
it's true.
That's why I said Fee's cooler.
Well, if
Yeah.
he could ever get stuck in a car and then get shipped off.
First
to-
of all,
Yes,
yes. I would know to get out
I
of
can
that
see
car.
that. I can see that happening.
Why would I get stuck in the car? I know to get out of it. I'm not that dumb. He's just like, he let the car do a U-turn and drove him off in the pier into a like shipping container. That's on him. He could have got out of the vehicle, and then he could have sued them for doing that to him because it was like days upon days. That's a whole other story.
Anyway, so that's Silicon Valley. You have no connection to any of that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I apologize for the random rant. I'm just saying that as someone who works in tech, and it's wild. It is very relatable, so I would highly recommend. It's almost like our version of the IT crowd, because the IT crowd was so relatable for tech. Like this is obviously over the top, but there's just some crazy shit that happens.
This is taking the whole, because I've been in a startup before. This is like taking the startup formula and like magnifying it by like 100 or maybe like 1,000. But it is also in San Francisco where the startup is like a big thing. That's where like VCs are always there looking for like the next big thing and the next like big opportunity that's gonna happen, or the next Facebook or Spotify or whatever it is, right? So
yeah. It's a great show. It's a great show. It's fucking hilarious. And actually, like I said last time we saw this, or we talked about this, I just love how it talks about tech. It talks about tech in a very unique way because it actually doesn't talk about tech in like a dumb way.
The funny thing about this is like, we were in Discord today talking, we're working and watching it, and I told Frank, like, TechCrunch is a real thing. It happens. Like, that's a real conference. Yeah. And he's like, what? That's a real conference?
Yeah, because most of the stuff up to that point is, like, fake. Like, the Weissman score thing is fake, all that shit. Like, all that shit ain't real. But then, like, I was thinking, like, by that point, I was like, okay, well, TechCrunch is probably just, like, a joke on, like, CES or something like that. No, apparently it's real.
No, and the strategies that they're using, like the Hoffman strategy and stuff like that, I learned that in school. I had to learn that in school and try to do compression on images and stuff like that while I was in university.
Or what was the planning thing? Scrum,
yeah, that's what I do every day.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Don't even get. We're not going to talk about scrumming because that's just
that's its own podcast. That's a Scrum podcast. We're going to talk about that.
Scrumcast.
Yeah, that's the Scrumcast.
Yeah, and then I just pull out my whiteboard that's over here with just a bunch of sticky notes and shit on it, and then
And then
be
she's gonna
like,
have 5 columns. She's gonna have the ice box. She's gonna have in progress, testing, and then finished.
we're not gonna talk about that because that's a whole other thing that just like brings me joy. So on that note though, Harv, what have you been playing and what have you been getting up to this week?
Okay, so I play Final Fantasy 14 like I always do. I got
Yeah.
3 videos out this week on Final Fantasy 14 job changes. Next 2 videos are going to be going up next week on that
Mhm.
stuff. They're just short 6-minute videos, about 5 to 6 minutes of just like what kind of changes are going to be coming out onto the different jobs that that are in the game and the new ones that are going to be implemented. You can see that on my YouTube, youtube.com/BeardInTheHairGaming. I've been playing New World. I recorded a podcast yesterday with people that have been playing a lot of New World, and we got like honest opinions of what people think about this game. And I am not the only one, thankfully. I don't know if people who there was Norza on there. I don't know if people know who Norza is. He's a really prevalent like YouTuber out there that does like a lot of guides and stuff like that for games. Purger and Andrew, who are I think it's Purger's first MMORPG and stuff like that. It was a really good talk. I still stand by. If you love to sink like 9-10 hours into a game, this is a great game. That is all this game has. It is very, very shallow of a game in my opinion. So I don't know if I'd recommend it. I have played 300 hours of this game, so take that how you want it. I started my speedruns for Cuphead.
Nice.
This is gonna happen. I'm going to finish Cuphead in an hour. 1 hour, the entire game.
Well, good luck with that.
I finished the first section in 28 minutes.
I think it's doable. With things that I could do a lot better. Like I died on a couple of the bosses and stuff like that. There's a couple of cheeses that I know I can do. What
is your current time of the game?
3 hours.
Okay.
That's the current.
It's doable. No, an hour is doable, I think.
Yeah.
Mario's face during the entire explanation was this like shock, confusion.
So the world record right now. The world record right now is 27 minutes for this game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's doable.
Yeah. And
I'm wondering, what was your time, Mario? It doesn't take that long to become
game.
Oh, okay.
It's fucking hard. That's why.
Well,
I was about to say, I don't think you've ever finished that game.
I don't think I got off the first island.
It's not that bad.
You beat it?
There are 4
it's not
bosses
that bad
in
of a
the
game.
There's 4 bosses in the game. There are killers for runs when you do speed runs and stuff like that. There are 4 bosses in there. I have to just practice. I think what I'm looking at is just practicing it world by world. So getting really good in the first world, and then moving on to the second world, getting ready for the second world, and then kind of jumping through like that. I think that's what I'm gonna have to do at this point. But I needed a game that I could speedrun, that I could finish within an hour, and some of the Souls games are too long. Sekiro, that's already been done now for me, so like now it's Cuphead is the next one, and I actually enjoy Cuphead a lot. I think it's a really, really, really good game, and
nice.
Yeah, I'm hoping because I finished the first section in about 30 minutes or something like that, 35 minutes, and then the next section, the one boss took me an hour and a half to beat. And I was like, okay, I need to like practice this boss. I need to figure out its ins and outs because this is not working with this boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's a lot of those like Mega Man strats where you got to just like almost be ready for like each frame.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, and like what like Mario said is valid. It is a hard game if you don't play those games. What Frank said is valid. It's not that hard of a game because you could cheese half of these bosses.
Oh
so,
yeah,
like,
100%.
There's a balance in these kind of games. If you play these games, then you kind of know that they're not that difficult. But if you don't play these kind of games, then yeah, they're going to be hard games because it's a skill set that you usually don't tap into when it comes to games.
Yeah, because I grew up playing like those Mega Man games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I fucking I put Mega Man Maverick Hunter X on my little Switch here just so I could replay that game again. Once you kind of get used to them, you know what I mean? Once you kind of get used to like that type of formula of just like dodging bullets and when to jump, when not to jump, stuff like that, you get into a rhythm, and once you're in that rhythm, you're pretty set.
When you shared that on Twitter the other day, Frank, I thought that was a fake game. I didn't know that was the title of that game. I never said that game before.
It's
crazy.
it's a remake of Mega Man X, but in 3D, and it even has like unique like anime elements in it because they have like unique movies for it. But it's just Mega Man X 1.
I was like, what the fuck title is that? I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then I have a question for you guys now. Okay, I put this in the doc.
Me and Frank got the answer.
And I want some votes for this from all you guys because there's four of you, so that there might be a split vote here. There's a new show I want to watch. I want to watch a new show. Right? I think these are all Netflix shows. They're all Netflix shows. They're all Netflix shows. I've been meaning to try to get into one now since I'm done The Crown. I'm having Crown withdrawals now because that show was so good. It was so fucking good that I can't wait till next season. I got Sex Education, Queen's Gambit, or You. That's what's on the list right now.
I'm being distracted again with the people writing stuff in the thing. Can I go first?
Sure.
Sex Education. Okay. To be fair though, if I had to do between the three of them, right? They're three different flavors.
That's the problem.
Closest thing I think is like prestige level is probably going to be Queen's Gambit. When it comes to like slutty drama, probably You. Okay.
Wait, slutty drama?
Slutty drama. I'm talking like love and people killing each other and fucking for dumbass reasons. It's gonna be great.
How is that slutty? How is killing somebody slutty?
Anything about I'm obsessive and sexy, it's slutty. All right, it's all slutty. And slutty does not mean bad, by the way. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
No,
I'm just trying to find the correlation between murder and slutty.
That can be slutty. It absolutely can be sexy. American Psycho, slutty sexy. Okay, very good. Again, this is just me talking out of my ass. But if I had to put it in that correlation, it's sort of like it was a Lifetime show. So what do you want me to say? All right, it was a fucking Lifetime show. Slutty sexy. Same thing with Sex Education. I wouldn't say it's more slutty because it's not so much of like that is what it's about, but it is definitely more of a show about people. And it depends on what you want. My vote is obviously Sex Education because I think it's a fantastic show throughout the whole 3 seasons.
Okay.
That's all.
Put something in there and read Harv if you wanted to read it.
No. Stop distracting him.
Wait, is this the
all right,
joke?
It's 100% a D joke.
Yeah, when you put the last word there, obviously I know it's going to be a D joke.
I had to try it, but Mario ruined it, so it doesn't work.
Well, my vote is for You, especially season 1. Catherine Gallagher is incredible. I mean, everybody else is incredible, but especially Catherine Gallagher.
Okay, so we got one for You. We got one
terrible reason to watch a show.
For what's Sex Education? Sorry.
Yeah,
right,
I'm gonna vote Sex Education.
Okay.
It's a show that I've recommended to almost everybody I've talked to. It's a fantastic show with a fantastic cast and a fantastic crew.
And it just gets better every season.
You'll learn to love everybody on that show for every kind of fault that they have and every kind of good thing they do. It's just a great show overall. It's a good feel-good show too.
And it's also a show I think you can learn from, personally.
Yeah, you learn how to fuck on it.
No, you do learn how to fuck better.
Moving on.
But do you know how to jerk off in an auditorium in TechCrunch though?
Yeah, yes. How do you? Yeah, I mean,
yes.
This year's been pretty good. I've learned some more Sex Education. I've learned how to jerk off 400 guys in an auditorium.
Speaking about auditoriums, there's a lot of auditorium stuff that happens on that show. And
yeah,
it's about jerk off.
Pete, what do you think?
Split vote, baby.
I have a feeling it's gonna be split vote. I have a feeling it's gonna be.
You just gotta watch both now.
No, here's the thing. I'm gonna be talking about it a little bit more. I just finished You season 3.
So is it regency bias? Regency bias? Is that what it's called?
Regency bias?
What is it called?
Recency
bias. There we go.
So here's the thing.
The Regency Hotel.
Okay.
Or the honeymoon period, as you can call it.
I was thinking like Regency era, like Jane Austen era.
What? Fair.
See, I would the thing is with You and with Sex Education, it's a time commitment because there's multiple seasons. Queen's Gambit only has one season and plans on only having one season. So if you wanted to watch something that was a little bit shorter, yes, it does take you on a trip. It definitely takes you on a little bit of a ride. But I would probably recommend Queen's Gambit first, then after you had to deal with all the emotional toils of both of these shows, you can then go into Sex Education, which is apparently like a little bit more lighthearted than the other two. So I would like recommend
There
doing
you
that
go.
in order. Queen's Gambit, and then Sex Education. But I also recommend, because if you're looking at kind of shows like that, watch Ratchet, which is another Netflix show. And it came out last year. It's about the nurse from
Nurse Ratchet.
The one who flew over the cuckoo's nest, I think is the name of it.
Yeah. Yes. So it has Sarah Paulson in it, who is absolutely fabulous, and in like a skew of like different actors, and it's actually really, really great. It almost has like a little bit of a American Horror Story vibe, but because obviously Sarah Paulson is a part of American Horror Story, but it just kind of has like the darker theme. Right? And if you're looking for something that's a little bit more fall spooky, kind of creepy, kind of like out of the box, I'd recommend that. So probably like Queen's Gambit, and then right after watching Ratchet, and then Sex Education.
Wow, way to put my favorite show at the bottom of the list, Fee. The fuck?
I mean, it makes sense.
What?
It makes sense because like after watching something intense, you want something more feel good, right?
Boom.
And I feel like Sex Education is a feel good kind of show.
I'm very excited to see which one you think is the best show out of the three of them. That's what I'm curious about.
I think out of all of them, I think I'm gonna like Queen Gambit the most.
Yes,
only because
watch Queen's Gambit.
Because I like period pieces are my favorite things. I love period pieces. Give it to Downton Abbey, give it to Crown, all that kind of stuff.
I will rewatch Queen's Gambit. Harv, we need to watch Downton Abbey together.
I mean, I'm always down to watch Downton Abbey.
I'm in the middle of rewatching it, and
it's one of my favorite shows of all time. So it's up there.
I still stand by a lot of the things that in that show could be resolved by throwing them out.
You know what we're gonna do, Fee? Okay, so right now we're in the middle of Silicon Valley. Yes. We're gonna watch Supernatural. We're gonna get through Supernatural.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
All of Supernatural.
Fee is in the middle of Supernatural. I'm just gonna join whenever she's done. Like,
unless you're like, hey, at the end of season 5 and walk away. Yeah, you're totally fine.
Yeah, you're not gonna. There's literally not enough days in the year for you to fucking finish
Buffy before you get anywhere near the end of fucking.
That's probably true. But I want to watch Downton Abbey afterwards.
Okay.
We're gonna get through Downton Abbey.
And I'm just gonna say multiple times throughout the entire watch party that this should have been resolved by throwing them out the window. Because that's how I feel. A lot. And then there's gonna be an
episode that's gonna go by. There's gonna be an episode where we go by, and then he's gonna be like, I gotta turn off. I have to leave because she's gonna be crying the entire time.
I mean, yeah, that is pretty unfair for me.
I think I know what episode always makes me cry. I'm not sure if it's the same one you're thinking of.
I can't say.
Are you thinking of what season?
I want to say
5.
I want to say it's 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's valid. I always cry at season 5, like episode 8.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
If you know,
yeah. Yeah, that was pretty bad too. But again,
before we move on, I just want to say, Mario brought up Buffy, which reminded me of Angel, which reminded me Christian Kane, who's in Leverage, was on Angel, and a bunch of other people who are on Angel are in Leverage. So go watch Leverage.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, great show. Everybody needs to watch it. It's a great show. And second of all, don't worry, Fee's gonna be crying this week anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah.
We're getting to the end of Shadowbringers this week on Wednesday in Final Fantasy. There is going to be crying. So
there's going to be tears. I will say that every time I see someone complete Shadowbringers and have a video on YouTube on it, it's always them just like either crying or going like, "Oh God," or it's like in the thumbnail and stuff like that. I want you to record
the reaction, put it in your episode.
Oh my God, yes, Fee, you have to do this.
I'm going to be live streaming.
Yeah, we're all face camming this one. It was already decided that we're all face camming.
I always get I know what's happening. I always get teary eyed because of it. So
we'll definitely be doing that next week, so look forward to it on all of our channels. We'll do a multi-stream and we'll be retweeting it on the Pip channel, so you guys can keep up to date on all of that fun stuff. But yeah, Mario, what have you been playing / getting up to this week?
I did a little bit of a twofer here, and I'm gonna combine this. So there was a special anniversary for the people out there who love all things Batman, specifically the Arkham series.
Okay.
And this is the I can't believe it. It's the 10-year anniversary for Batman Arkham City.
Oh man, I thought it'd be Arkham Asylum.
No, that's passed already. We're a couple years
my
past
God.
that. And it's interesting because I decided that for the anniversary, in which I got inspired by Barrett Courtney.
Game number 2?
Game number two.
Game number 2?
Yeah, game number 2. I was inspired by Barrett Courtney, who decided to play the whole game on stream, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do the same thing. So I kind of raced him in a way where I was like trying to beat him beforehand. Obviously, he had other commitments going on his stream, so it wasn't like a real race. But I wanted to get through it because I know that's a game that I could probably beat in 5 or 6 hours. So it's very fun to revisit an old classic that still holds up in a lot of ways, and definitely is in itself more unique the more that I think about it in itself and in its place in time, where I was when I picked up the game at midnight, to all the way to experiencing that story and how that story ends. And if you haven't played it, it is it's a fantastic, its own universe Batman story that really shaped my early years in video games. And I highly recommend, still playable today. And I play the Return to Arkham version, which I did hear has a few quirks, but I didn't experience nothing too crazy. So it's still playable in the state that it is. It's on sale. When I got it, it was like $11. So you can get both games for really streets, which, by the way, I looked at. So I played Arkham City all the way through, and I was like, okay, this reminds me of exactly how I played it, back in the day. But for a second there, I loaded up Arkham Asylum, and that looks dramatically different on the console. And I'm like, it looks gorgeous. So I'm gonna go ahead and revisit that at some point. But yeah, it is the 10-year anniversary, and I had a blast. It still holds up as a game, and I recommend people, if you've not played it, play it on any platform that you possibly can, either the original version or this anniversary one. So definitely give that a shout out. Which, now that we're in the Halloween season, and I wanted to continue sort of, since I was already in the mindset for Batman, I saw that both Batman The Long Halloween Part 1 and 2 are on HBO Max. And, Frank can confirm, huge DC guy, love the DC animated stuff. I've not caught up on the New 52 versions of their anime where it's like all one long continuity, because honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of what they have there. But sometimes they do one-off stories, which are these grand like retellings of classic stories. And the Long Halloween is cool because it's a book that I've never read, but I know so much about because of the Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight film. Because that movie is heavily inspired by this book, even though the story is completely different. There's elements that are in the book and definitely in the cartoon that are like straight from like the comic, which is incredible. Like, if you remember,
there's straight up like just dialogue straight ripped from the comic.
Exactly, but
that movie,
even scenes too, which I was cool to see. Like, for instance, the scene where Batman, Gordon, and Harvey Dent are talking on a rooftop in The Dark Knight is straight from this comic, and to see how they depict it was really cool. The art style of the actual visuals, which at first I was like totally off put by, but the more I watched it, the more I got into it, because it reminded me so much of the original artist, which is Tim Sale. He did if you ever watch Heroes, he did the art for Heroes. And so I love that art. I love Tim Sale's Catwoman run and stuff like that. So they definitely captured that in the animation in terms of the characters, the sort of thick black lines. And I thought that looked incredible. And I think that overall, the presentation and how the story is told is a lot of fun. Part 1 and Part 2 are separated because it's covering a whole year. They do a good break off of when they separate them. The ending left me a little unsatisfied, only because it is a massive change from the comic. in a weird way, in a weird motivational way. But I think that the presentation, I think, is still fun. If you wanted something Halloween-esque, but also covers multiple holidays and a crime story and deals with, like, this is also because I finished The Sopranos. So I have, like, that history in there. So that was fun to watch. But yeah, it was really cool to experience it. And so I do recommend it. It's on HBO Max, like I said, if you don't have it. Or if you want to just rent it, it's probably like $3. But I think it was a pretty solid presentation for what it was.
Yeah, Long Halloween's a fucking goated book. If you ever get the chance, read the damn book. It's so good. It's Jeff Loeb and fucking Tim Sale know how to write a goddamn story really well.
Yeah.
And then if you ever get a chance, read Dark Victory, which is its sequel. It's not as good as Long Halloween, but it definitely does a lot of unique stuff with the whole like Batman and Robin mythos and stuff like that.
I was gonna ask you, is that like direct sequel, like follow up, like the events,
right
like Holiday and stuff is in that?
They don't mention any of it, but it's literally right afterward.
But it's just a continuation of like continuity, not so much like a continuation.
Because Catwoman's the same in that one. Like it's all like basically the same shit.
No, it's only because the way that they resolve it, and I can talk about the way they resolve it in
the movie show. Probably resolved it differently because they don't want to.
No. They resolve it the same, but they add something that's I don't think is good, and I'll tell you afterwards if you're not going to watch it. But yeah, that's all the Batman stuff that I've been doing because of the 10-year anniversary. I did it. I watched the number one thing that everybody keeps talking about, and we kind of mentioned it last week. I watched all of Squid Game in a day.
That's not good.
Why is that not good?
That's like eating a whole steak in like 5 minutes. Gotta let it digest a little bit.
Okay, a whole steak in 9 hours. Okay, Frank.
So
yes.
What did you think of it?
Okay, spoiler alert. I have not seen it yet.
I'm not going to spoil it.
Don't spoil anything.
I'm not going to spoil it. Yeah, I wouldn't spoil it. I have restraint. But
so this is what happens.
That was a joke. I think that the show deserves all the hype that it is getting. Mm-hmm. I'm very curious as to why a show like this is so popular. And it's funny because someone put it in the perspective that the Hunger Games and all that sort of came around in a time when we were in a recession. And we're also kind of not doing so great as a society right now. And I'm wondering why that keeps feeding into it. The show itself is technically really fantastic. The presentation is gorgeous in terms of how simple the simple sets are and how the contraption of it, which if you don't know what it is very much a sort of like a sort of, how can I describe it? A motif on capitalism and classism. And basically it is a murder show, very similar to a battle royale and or Hunger Games, where people
like the story of the lottery.
Sure. Yeah.
That's kind of like the first of that type that kind of inspired that genre.
Sure.
I thought it was Battle Royale that inspired that. Because Battle Royale, didn't that come out like, it wasn't that like early 1990s?
When's the lottery? Figure that out while I tell more.
Well, the original, like if you're talking about Shirley Jackson's, it's like in the it's apparently 1948. But
yeah.
One of the, like, at least in like modern day, when it comes to stories like that, it would be Battle Royale, because Battle Royale it's now considered like a cult classic for a lot of people, but like it was originally a novel and then it became the 2 movies.
When people talk about this type of genre, they bring up Battle Royale first. Like it's a battle. Like, I mean, we even have the game genre Battle Royale, right? Because that's basically everyone sort of associates it with.
Yeah.
Yep, that's where it came from.
Yeah. And then the person who actually wrote this script wrote it about 10 years ago, which is funny because that's roughly when we were in a recession and shit was bad. And
did they try to pitch it to different places and nobody really took it?
Yeah. That's essentially the story. But basically, you're following one specific person and he's down on his luck for being sort of. He took a stance and it went bad and he lost everything. And he is now sort of like kind of a deadbeat, very similar to a character like in Old Boy, where he's sort of like a jerk off, like just like totally loose person. And then he gets this opportunity, is like, hey, do this thing and then you might win a lot of money. And He's 456 people gather in this area, and they have to perform and do 6 games. If they make it to the 6th game, they win the prize. That's the premise of the show. Turns out it's murder involved. Without telling you,
really?
Yes.
Really? Who would have thought?
Without telling you what the games are, which are very funny for what they do. It's definitely, I think, a very interesting commentary that very mirrors not only very much you can see this in sort of the American aspect, but you could definitely see it obviously as an international thing, and see how much South Korea is very much modeled after sort of American capitalism, which I found very interesting, and hearing other people talk about it in that way. And so it is a interesting show to follow this person, if you think he deserves it or not, obviously, to go through this. But yeah, I think it's fantastic. It's 9 episodes. One episode is 30 minutes randomly for some reason, but otherwise, as someone, I forget how much I actually do enjoy South Korean movies and films, because stylistically they're unmatched in a lot of ways. Park Chan-wook is one of my favorites, and of course he did Old Boy, Sympathy, Lady Vengeance, Mr. Vengeance, and of course Thirst. And to see more of that is awesome. To see it being praised by a lot of people is great. I watched it undubbed. I watched it subtitles because the dub is fucking terrible.
Dubs are always terrible. Do never ever go
Yeah,
dub.
so
Always go sub.
I was gonna ask, do you watch it in sub?
Yeah, I watched it in
you watch
subtitles, and I mean, I've heard obviously crazy conflicting things about what is accuracy and idioms and you know, the way that people talk and stuff like that. So they at least told a story which I could understand and get the themes through, and I thought that they did a solid job for me to enjoy the show. So I think that that is the way to enjoy it. The only dub that I watch is My Hero Academia, because I prefer the American voice actors. But yeah, that's pretty much, I think, my estimation on Squid Game, and I recommend everyone checking it out.
Nice. Yeah.
I don't want there to be a season 2.
The issue was, like, a lot of people were upset because of the English dub of the show, because they weren't able to translate specific phrasing. And also one particular character, like, there was someone, it was on TikTok where a girl was just like, that's not what this character is saying whatsoever. And then she broke down this entire character is completely different. Almost like she almost has like a completely different narrative in the Korean adaptation and the actual subtitled version, because of the way that they translated it with the English dub.
Yeah,
but no, I've been one. What? Pardon?
I was like, I heard like all the different language ones are all have their weird quirks. Like I heard the Ukrainian one, when they say a curse word, whenever they say fuck, they replace it with dirtbag. So they'll just, every curse word is dirtbag.
Yeah, with dubs and subs, the easiest way to figure out if you have a really good dub is throw the dub on, but put the English subtitles on, and just like watch as like sometimes they'll just say 2 separate things.
It does. That's bad.
And I noticed Demon Slayer does that a lot. Demon Slayer has a decent dub. Yeah, but like Demon Slayer has a decent sub, but like a lot of the times you'll see the subtitles say one thing, and the character saying something completely different in a different context.
Well,
and it's
the
like
issue with my apologies for cutting you off. The issue is when you're watching it on that, because if you watch it on Crunchyroll, they have this actual subtitles for the English translate. Like when people are speaking in English, they have the English like subtitles that are matching what they're saying. With Netflix, they'll take the actual thing, like what they're actually saying in Japanese, and use the English subtitles for that, and not change it for the English dub. And so the English dub does not match the actual subtitles that are currently going on. So,
but that's what I mean. It shows that like the dub is changing what the context of what the Japanese, like, you know, original Japanese version is trying to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is why whenever I watch this stuff, I always go subbed.
Always, always go
because
subbed.
like I always feel like that's the natural way of what everybody wants to consume this game. It's the same way, like even games, when it comes from like an Eastern point of view, I will play the game on a sub thing. Like Ghost of Tsushima was the same way. Any kind of those kind of games will always play on sub, because I know that game is developed in the West.
No,
right?
the difference there obviously is that it was developed in the West, so the English dub, or the English, the English dub, the animations to the lips are matched the English, not the Japanese.
Yeah,
until they fixed it recently.
Yeah, that was never a problem for me though, because like I like how the Japanese language is said and how it's like portrayed
It's
and
how it
stuff like
sounds
that.
and everything.
Yeah,
like
how
that.
it sounds. So like that was a perfect thing. I guess Final Fantasy is the only one in my mind that Final Fantasy 14 was the only one that something's happened over there.
Yeah,
Sly.
someone's getting some hard static.
Is it me?
No, it's Sly's mic is lighting up. Okay, you're good now. You're good now.
It always lights up when you guys are talking because of how my output's set up.
Gotcha.
It could be because it could be just interference from your speakers in your earphones because it's wireless.
You moved
but you're good now. You're good now.
Yeah, you moved away and it went away. So that makes sense.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah, the Final Fantasy 14, I guess, is a difference for me when it comes to this because they are, I guess, catering more to the Western audience now for this game, and Final Fantasy 16 is supposed to be the same thing. They did the Western dub before they did the Japanese dub, which is a first I've ever seen for a Final Fantasy game before, because they usually always do the Japanese dub first and then they go to the Western dub. But I think because how prevalent 14's been now and how people have like looked at like 15, for example, 15 was a huge game and stuff like that, right? So I when I watch Squid Games, I'm gonna watch it in subbed because that's the way that I want to experience it.
I recommend that for sure.
Yeah.
I wish I could watch things in subbed, but I need captions, and subs don't contain all the information, so I have to watch dubbed if I want to know what the hell's going on.
I think it. Oh, I have to look into it again, but it did. It like captioned.
As an option, usually Netflix sometimes has an option.
It captions like fart.
CC plus.
It says fart, and then I'm trying to remember what else it did. Hold on, but I'll look into it. Give me a second.
Yeah, Mario actually brought up a good question earlier. It's just like why people really like that genre, why people are eating up that genre, and it's the simple like Game of Thrones is a fucking Walking Dead thing. People just like to not know or have like that kind of game that they could play, where you have these cast of characters who could die at any moment. You know what I mean? Like one character you really like could just die in an episode. You know what I mean? They like the mass audience really likes that tension, that constant tension of like looming like fear over like their favorite characters. You know what I mean? We've seen it with Game of Thrones, we've seen it with Walking Dead, now we're seeing it with, Squid Games. And, that's the winning formula for a mass group of audience, honestly.
Yeah, no. That could actually be an entire podcast in itself, just discussing like the popularity of.
No, go ahead.
I was just. I thought you were like putting your hand up for a reason.
I was just gonna wait till you're done, and I was gonna say it does have closed captionings on it for Squid Game. So it's English closed captionings.
It's a lot of like just the discussion of having like how popular Korean like cinema has been like over the past like even just like 5 years, because we saw this with Parasite, Train to Busan, and then seeing like Squid Games, and obviously a bunch of like K-dramas that everyone's like are super obsessed with, which I can talk about. But just like there's a lot of like, I think it's because it's new, as well as like it's new material. It's like thinking outside of the box and seeing like a lot of like really great, because they're all phenomenal actors. Like the people that are in Squid Games, like they all have like a very long list of like titles and history when it comes to like cinema and just shows and like South Korean like TV and stuff like that. But no, I think it's really cool to see that it's become really popular. And I'm very excited to watch it. I just haven't specifically had the time recently to sit down and actually like pay attention to something, because I want to watch it in sub. I don't want to watch it in dub.
Yeah.
I tried to watch it for like 10 minutes in dub, and I'm like, I
can't do it.
I can't do it.
I tend to eat food when I'm watching TV, and this was a show that I couldn't do that because I tend to just zone out and just eat, right? Now I can hear the dialogue, I can put things together. Squid Game was on a show I could do that.
Yeah, that's why I said earlier, like when you finished it in one day, I was like, damn,
It's good.
Like
That's why it's
one of
compelling.
those shows that if I heard it, you got to like kind of pay attention. So I was just like, whole day.
Not
I mean, it's
necessarily.
one of those things where you can watch it once, like watch it because a lot of people watched it through in one day, but then you can go back and then see like, oh my god, I didn't even notice this the first time I watched it, which
I mean,
is really great.
it's 8 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
9
like what
episodes.
9 episodes?
9.
And that's like what 8 hours of your day. That's not that bad.
8:30.
Yeah, that's not bad at all, honestly.
8 hours is a long time.
I mean, how many hours do you play a video game?
Yeah, I stream for 8 hours, right? Like it's just the same.
How long
thing.
is this podcast? It's been going for an hour and 30 right now.
Yeah, there we go.
We're only 6.5 hours away. You know.
There you go.
No, that it's funny when a show does that. We can move on after this, but like,
Yeah.
it's funny how a show does that because like, I thought the Crown. Okay, I'm gonna bring this back to the Crown because
Oh my god,
I'm
the
addicted to
Crown.
It's so good. It's so good. But but this goes back to your thing, Mario, where you talk about like a show that you can just watch while you're eating. It's what that show was for me. But then it got so good that I was just like, I have to stop everything I'm doing and just watch the show. Like I just have to sit down and just watch it and try to understand what's going on and kind of stuff like that. Which obviously with something that's subbed, it's a little bit different because you have to read what's going on and stuff like that. But like when a show grabs you like that, that is different. It is different.
Yeah, it got to the point where I want to know what the next episode was because I want to know what is the next game that they're going to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I am very excited to I hope to get some time this week to hop into that one. But yeah, just to kind of wrap up the segment, I'll talk about what I've been playing slash watching. Yeah, I've been playing some Final Fantasy this week for sure. But I've been playing a few other things as well. I actually have been playing Tools Up this past week with Lucas. It is a multiplayer kind of like couch co-op where you are tasked assignments. You go into someone's house and you have to like change the walls, you have to paint the floor, like not paint the floor, my god. Put tiling down the floors, paint the walls.
You paint the floors over there in Canada?
Yeah, why not? It's by Knights of Unity, which are the same people who do my god, why can I not remember it? It's a cooking game.
Overcooked. Cooking Mama.
Overcooked. It's by the same people who made Overcooked, and it's a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun with it. Been doing quite well. I think we're actually we're 2 levels away from finishing the game, and then you can get add-ons. So I've been playing that. It's been absolutely chaotic. I've never wanted to like just put a dog in a specific room, leave them there, because there's like a particular character, like you're trying to like fix this house and this dog keeps on coming over and knocking over paint cans, and so you're like, stop doing that, and you try to like take the, and then they knock you over, so then you fall over with this paint can. And
whose
so
dog is this?
It's apparently the owner just decided to leave the dog in the house. And what's even more, like, I think it's kind of adorable, but also I know for a fact I'm gonna hate it. In one of the expansions, they have this little raccoon that goes around and he just like looks around, like is really sneaky, and then he'll pick up like a garbage bucket or he'll pick up like paint, and then he'll go to like the little river behind the house and just put the items into the river so it just washes away. And you're like, what the fuck is this? And then you have to wait until it comes around. It's absolute chaos. Would highly recommend the game. It's really cute. It came out in 2019. It's definitely not as popular as Overcooked, but I would very much recommend it. I have been also playing some DBD again, which kind of goes into what we're going to be playing after this podcast. To kind of try it out because I knew that there was cross progression, and there was a sale on Steam. I bought Dead by Daylight, so that's another place I own Dead by Daylight. I now own it on my PlayStation, Stadia, and now Steam, because there is cross progression between Steam and Stadia if you own the game on both locations. And so I did that, and I downloaded the game, and I'm probably going to be playing on Steam tonight because unfortunately, as much as I love Stadia, it doesn't run very well on the computer. Like, it runs well. Like, I'm able to do a bunch of stuff, but the clarity of the game is not optimized very well for PC, which is weird. So I'm going to have to figure that one out, and talk to Aaron and Jake and see if they have any suggestions, because I've been trying multiple things, and for some reason it comes out kind of cloudy and a little bit blurry, and I'm like, why is this happening? So I'm really happy that I'm able to play it on Steam. So I'm really excited to jump back into that one because it has been almost a year since we played last. Like we played a little bit this week, but we were really into it last year during the Halloween season.
I got to rank 1. You got to what was I got?
I was gonna say I'm gonna try to like it this time because I'm afraid to say that I'm like this is just not my game. Like I don't enjoy it that much.
It's possible.
So I'm gonna try.
It depends on if you like stealth
tonight.
at all, because it's very stealthy.
It's not even the stealth thing. I just don't like the mechanics that much of this game.
That's
but
fine.
I am going to try. I'm gonna give it a whirl, and we're gonna see how this one goes.
Give it a gander.
Give it the old college try, you know?
Yeah.
Give it the old college try. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh my god.
That's an eyeball.
So we'll be
That's an
playing
eyeball.
DBD later on. Like I said, I finished season 3. I know last week I talked about it, and I was only 2 episodes in. I did finish it the following day, and there was things that happened in that show that I was thrown off guard. And obviously I'm not going to specifically spoil anything, but
Did somebody die?
It was almost like it was very much a roller coaster of a
Yeah.
season.
Somebody did die. I can guarantee that. At least somebody died.
At least someone died. Like at least one person. That's the minimum. I will not provide a maximum of how many people died. And yeah, it's just really weird.
I would
It's
say less than 100.
yeah, I mean less than 100 indeed. Yeah. I think it was it was really well done. They actually announced season 4 3 days before season 3 came out, which was a little bit of a weird one, and I'm like
They do that. Netflix does that a lot.
I'm like, I know that this is popular, but like now it kind of sets the expectation that this isn't going to be the end. And so like that air of mystery is now gone. So that
I don't like because Netflix does that with every one of their shows. Before the show even comes out, they renew it for another season. And I personally don't like it. I think they should wait until like the season's over. But the problem is, how do you do that with Netflix?
Here's the thing. This is what you do. You put it at the end of this last episode, and then you wait a week, and then you specifically announce that there's going to be a season 4. So the people who've watched it, like me, because I watched it in 2.5 days. So actually, my apologies. I finished on Sunday. So in 2.5 days, I was able to watch it. At the end, if they were like, this is what's going to happen next time, because this is what's happening. I literally cannot say anything that has happened because it's all a spoiler. So
yeah,
this is what happens.
It's annoying. Yeah. It's annoying to do that because Halloween did that, where it's just like we have Halloween and then Halloween kills, but then we already knew Halloween ends was after it. So it's like when you watch the movie, you're like, nothing's gonna get really resolved here because there's gonna be a third movie.
Yeah, the middle is always, but yeah, when there's a new season, it's tough to do that. It's tough for Netflix because like they release everything in one go, right? Everything comes out, so like you have to just be like, yeah, there's gonna be another season coming out for the show.
I think
there should be a delay, but the thing is like, how do you satisfy the entire group of people that watch the they wait like a week or something like that to watch it because they don't have enough time, all that kind of stuff, right? So
yeah, I think the strategy, and I'll just say this before we move on, because Netflix is constantly in debt. They don't really make much money off of this stuff, and they have to keep subscribers coming and going. So the idea that if you like a show, they need to reel you in for those months to kind of make sure that your subscription stays active is to let you know that this show is going to return for
then do
2
it
more
at the end
seasons.
of the season. Just
I agree
for the end of the season, and then wait a week or 2, and then announce it for everyone else.
Yeah, I think the people who are heading Netflix don't really think about it that way. They're thinking, we need money.
That also comes to the fact that like that's gonna come out the first day.
Yeah,
that it's gonna be renewed for a 4th season.
Well, then because
you can't like if you put it at the end of the season, it's gonna be somebody's gonna watch it at the end of the season and be like, yeah, it's coming out for a 4th season. So it's either you do it 3 days before or it comes out the day that it comes out.
Well, here's the thing. I think they could have done it differently. And especially with right now with the actual book series, there's only 3 books, and now there's going to be a 4th season. So like,
Ooh, I don't know about this. I don't know
about
so
this.
either
We're gonna start making our own
when Game
lore
of
now.
Thrones tried to do this. Remember when that shit
Yes.
tried to do this?
Which is why I actually started listening to the audiobook, because I want to know what the frick is happening, because I'm like, is book 3 split into 2 parts? Is season 3 a part of book 2? Like, I want to know what's happening. So I've decided to start listening to the audiobook, which, by the way, is absolutely fantastic. And if you like You and you want a very good experience with it, the actual narrator, his name is Santino Fontana, is absolutely fantastic. As playing Joel Goldberg, absolutely phenomenal. And so I've been really enjoying that, like listening to the audiobook. Is it a weird experience? Absolutely. Am I a little bit confused in some cases? Absolutely. Did they kind of like completely skip over the fact that like someone died? Absolutely they did, because I was thrown off, because they're like, and then this happened. But
apparently a lot of people die in the show, so
well, that was the thing. Like in the show, they made this particular thing, like this particular situation, like a lot bigger, and it was a lot more like acted out. In this, it was just like, so yeah, that happened, and this is how I dealt with it, and then that was it. It was like very short, like minute, like it was like pushed under the rug. Like I had to re-listen to that particular chapter because I didn't realize that this particular person was dead. And I'm like, wait a second, what? Like, it was not, and I don't even, like, usually I listen to audiobooks a lot faster. I had it on 1. I had it, like, on regular speed. I just didn't hear the fact that they used a past tense, and then they said, like, yeah, this is what happened. I'm like, okay, that's me trying not to spoil it. And it's very difficult, because there's...
I don't like when studios split up movies or shows for like different like books and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The Hobbit tried to do it. I'm gonna give you guys a context. Hobbit is 300 pages long. The actual book is 300 pages. It was 3 movies. The Lord of the Rings is a 1,200 page book, and it's 3 movies.
yeah.
Put that into like, there is no way you can make a movie out of 100 pages. There's no way.
Bro, you can finish The Hobbit in like an hour or 2.
Yeah,
easy.
Yeah, it's just I think because they had this Silmarillion in there too, some aspects of it.
Not barely any similarity in there, because that's coming out. That's going to be something that's going to come out later with that, and the similarity and stuff that's in that book is fucking awesome. It is so good. It is one of the best books that Tolkien has made, because it's got the history of Middle Earth and all that kind of stuff in it. So yeah.